Hi, everybody. So yes, it's Unity House Day at Rotary, which is great. I'm delighted to introduce my colleagues. We have Kim Dagnesi. She's the manager of our Unity Employment Services program. She's located at Wright Avenue. And Ryan Morrell, who is the director of our PROS, Prosperity Mental Health Program. They work together to provide people with mental illness with different, I'm going to let them tell you, outpatient programs and employment services around town. So, Kim and Ryan.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly, and thanks everybody for having us here in person. Since March, we've really done a lot of telehealth. We've really been using Zoom pretty heavily, and it's good to see some faces in person. So as Kelly mentioned, I oversee the PROS program, and I started with Unity House last November, and as of May, I also started to oversee Kim's role in Unity Employment Services, and we also have Unity Employment Services in Geneva. It's called Geneva, but it covers Wayne, Seneca, Ontario, and Yates counties. So 4 counties west of us, and Kim covers Cayuga and Onondaga. So it's quite a large area of coverage, and Kim will speak more to what Unity Employment does at the ground level. As far as PROS goes, is anybody familiar with what PROS is? Okay. So it stands for Personalized Recovery-Oriented Services. This is a programming that's been around in our county since 2013, I believe. Unity House took it over in 2013. And prior to that, this type of programming was called intensive rehabilitative, psychiatric rehabilitative treatment. To put it non-clinically, I'm a clinician by trade. I'm a licensed mental health counselor. Folks that go to counseling and that have therapists oftentimes work on things in individual therapy, and sometimes the therapist will give them, homework to do outside of their sessions. PROS provides an opportunity for that to happen. It's set up as a college type of learning setting, and we're physically connected to Cayuga County Mental Health. So we do get a lot of referrals from Cayuga County Mental Health. Folks come over, and we have classes in semesters, everything from social skills to employment skills to family work to learning more about their disorders, anything to help them move forward with their mental health rehabilitation goals. So these are everyday folks that are struggling with mental health symptoms, and PROS provides them the opportunity to get back to where they were before, and really help to rehab any of those skills that they might have lost along the way. So, any other questions about PROS? I mean, we can save questions till the end if that works for everybody. But PROS is also connected. So my position, as it evolved prior to the summer, is to connect the folks that Kim works with PROS or vice versa, so we can kind of provide all these services together in an entire package. The bottom line is we need folks working in the community, and so with skills that we can work on folks with, transition them to Kim's program or to our Geneva program, and vice versa. Once they graduate out of Kim's program, they can come to PROS programming, because we also provide ongoing support if folks are in a job and their services have expired through UES, which goes through state education.
Right.
So I'll transition it over to
All right.
Kim.
So thank you guys for having me here today to talk about Unity Employment Services. So it's a department within Unity House of Cayuga. We work with individuals with a variety of disabilities. They could range from a physical disability to a mental health disability or a developmental learning disability. We currently, as Ryan had mentioned, I have an office here in Auburn that serves Cayuga County, and I also have an office in Syracuse, which serves all of Onondaga County. We're serving over 100 people between those two offices at this time. The Auburn office has actually been open the longest. I believe we opened the Auburn office in 1988. So we've been serving individuals in our community for over 25 years now, finding meaningful employment. So one of our main goals is when we get individuals to work with, is helping them find supported employment in the community. But they, what that actually would involve is helping them with creating resumes, the application process, maybe interviewing skills, and getting out there to find that job that they're interested in. We also help with work readiness skills. Some people that come to us maybe aren't ready to work yet, but they want to join that, go down that employment path. So we help them with creating and gaining those skills needed to become employable. Between our two state agencies that we're providers of, Access VR, which formerly was known as VESID, so I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with that, and OPWDD. We are able to provide a multitude of services to help individuals become employable and maintain employment out in the community. I'm not sure.
Can I just jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the Office of People with Developmental Disabilities, that's OPWDD, and then out in Geneva and those other 4 counties, we also get some county funding to provide ongoing supportive employment through the Office of Mental Health out there. So in my role, I also have to connect with county leaders out there to make sure that everything is running smoothly and we're getting referrals and we have good relationships with businesses out there as well.
Right, yeah, and I think one of the reasons we wanted to come here today was just really get Unity Employment Services out there. We do work with a lot of different businesses in the community already, but building those relationships between our department and businesses is really important with the things that we do, our role in our individuals' service providing. So, getting our name out there, letting people know what it is that we can do, what we can do for employers as well. We help people in their jobs, their new jobs, learning the jobs, helping the employers if they have issues that they might need, help talking to the clients with. We will help them resolve any issues or concerns that employers have as well. So we kind of work as a team. It's not only, us working with our individuals that are coming to get the services, we also work closely with the employers and businesses in the community as well, so.
One of the biggest trends, with pre-pandemic has been the idea of the gig economy. Things like delivery services and some kind of like self-employment type activities. And those are items that we would work on in the pros program as well. There's actually a project that we're working on right now. It's called 100 Side Hustles. That comes out of a book and a podcast from a gentleman who's studied it at length. And we have a great connection with NIAPRS, which is the New York Association of Psychiatric Rehabilitation Services, and they really provide a lot of guidance for our pros program, especially with employment initiatives and getting the word out. We're developing curricula that's going to be helpful to make transitions back and forth, or to just help folks understand how self-employment works and how it works with their benefits. And that's a big piece of all of this puzzle too.
Right, yeah, we have someone at our Auburn office that actually does benefits advisement. So, if you know anything about Social Security, it's confusing. They make it very confusing, and especially for anyone with a disability, it can be very hard to understand, and want to work but not want to lose their benefits, or know all of the ins and outs with that. So we do have benefits advisement that we're able to provide to our clients as well. So another bonus for our services. I have papers that I was going to hand out. You guys can have one if you would like. It's really just how individuals will benefit from our services. And I kind of already named a few of these services that we provide, which we do vocational assessments, creating resumes and conducting job searches with them, completing applications and interview prep, benefits advisement, like I just mentioned, on-site and off-site job coaching. So if somebody gets a job at an establishment where we're not able to go on-site with them because of HIPAA reasons or safety reasons, we are able to provide the job coaching off-site so that we can continue to help them with any issues that they're having. Skill development, career development and discovery, to maybe they don't know what they want to do and we can help them discover the work path that would be best for them. Overcoming the barriers that they might have to employment. And we also provide work readiness and self-advocacy training classes. So we have a curriculum developed that we developed back in 2018 that we work with individuals to become work ready and also have those self-advocacy skills that are needed to be successful in the work world. We also help with job retention as well. So, they might be working well at their job, but they just need the supports to remain employed, and we also give those services as well. For the employers, we obviously offer the on-site training. So we're there to help them free of cost for the employers. We help with employer and employee communication, and satisfaction skills, like I had mentioned earlier. The employment specialists are available to any of the supervisors or whatnot. If there's new tasks handed to that individual, we can, teach them the new tasks, no matter what phase of employment that it is in as well. So there's also tax incentives that we're able to provide to employers and all of that. So it's just it's beneficial for both the individual and the employer to have us there helping along.
How do you connect them?
I'm sorry, what's that?
How do you connect the individual you're serving who's looking for a job? How do you find the right fit, or how do you reach out to employers and make the connection?
Right. Well, so when we get an individual that comes in looking for employment, part of our intake process, we complete assessments to see maybe what their interests, their abilities are. Sometimes we do situational assessments out in the community. If an employer allows us to do different work assessments at their establishment, and that allows us to know what their strengths and abilities really are, and that's how we fit them in the right, the work skill area. We see what's available out in the community, and we do try to speak to employers to let them know who we have that we think would be best fit for those positions available.
So do you work closely with the employment office over at the college?
No, actually, we have worked with them from time to time. We actually do some trainings up there. We bring some of our folks over there to do some of the courses that they have available, but that's not something that we normally work closely with.
Okay, even though they have identified jobs in the community and they have employers coming to them.
They do it.
To identify.
Yeah, and we could.
Yeah.
We could.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I think that's where CAP's office was located. So we do have, I'll call them competitors in this field of employment services. We have CAP and Mosaic, I believe, offers employment services.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if Gavris Center does.
Does the ARC too for development?
Yes. Yep.
That's Mosaic now, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
That's Mosaic, okay.
Yes,
all
that's right.
Yeah. So, I say competitors, that they're doing the same thing. I think everybody's on the same page when work is important. Work is important for people to feel competent and confident, and it's important for their mental health. It's important for the greater society at large. So we definitely could tap into that. What is that called? There's a state.
Is that where Maureen Reister is now? Did she shift? She's at CCC.
It's at CCC.
Yeah, I don't know if it's, I forget what the name of the employment office is. I know it goes by a name. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
There is a name for
Career
it.
Center. It's the Career Center, but
She's not there anymore.
No, you're right though.
It's not out at
because-
the community college anymore?
She's not there anymore.
Yeah, no, but some of our employment specialists did go there often to speak with people there and to look and see what jobs were available. It's just this pandemic has not, we have not even been, I don't even know if they're still actively working over there at this current time.
Well, even if you're in a competitive situation for the individual, is there some coordination between?
yeah, actually
So that you don't have duplicate, it'd be like the food pantries, someone hitting down all of the food pantries and them not knowing that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, we do. We have some good coordination. I mean, when we get the referrals too, I'm pretty sure the VR counselor that does the assessment allows the individual to have a choice of where they want to go. And if they're connected to services already with Unity House, maybe in a house, they live in the residential programming, they might continue to choose Unity House for employment services. And yeah, we also have good relationships and good conversations with folks at Mosaic and CAP. And essentially the one, I think it's called One Stop. The state calls it a One Stop with the CCC Career Center. Because when they set those up, it was supposed to be a one-stop shop for anybody looking for employment. And really, we have a lot of those same capabilities within the agency. So the employment services coordinators, they really have that information. So if they needed something extra or couldn't find an answer, they might bring them out to the one stop, or at least introduce them to it as well. We've utilized it with pros too for folks that are interested in working. We also help them. We also help our people get connected to Access VR and fill out the applications for that as well.
Now, do you guys help, you talk about all these support services, as an individual, to be able to be a good employee, you need to be able to have these other things taken care of, like your housing and that kind of thing. Do you help with that and independent living skills?
Well, I hate to promote us as doing that because ultimately, what happens is you have somebody living in a residential, like mental health residential programming, and they'll call us and they'll say, well, aren't you supposed to be working on this with this person? And there are certain limits that we have to abide by. However, that kind of work is done on a regular basis, whether it's in pros or in UES. It is done.
And in other programs at Unity House.
Yeah.
We are primarily housing. And
Yeah.
so we work with the individuals who we house
Yeah.
in all different living situations on their independent
Right.
living skills, their daily needs. Yes. So
Yeah, I think inadvertently we do that quite often. We have Auburn Housing Authority calling us to get reports on, are they working because they need to be working in order to keep their Section 8 and, so on and so forth. So we do a lot of that in the background. And, obviously you're right, if somebody is having housing issues, childcare issues, any of the issues that are gonna be huge barriers to employment, that is something we do help them with. We help them, connect with the right resources. We don't do housing, but we know people that can help you with the housing, area. So we support them in that by providing them the phone numbers or contact information for the people that are able to better help them in those areas. Phone is obviously a necessary thing for people to have when looking for employment, because if you're putting in applications and you don't have a means for them to call you, that's a big issue. So that's another thing we help them with, making sure they have those resources available to them so that they're able to be contacted by employers for future job offers and whatnot.
that was something we were very successful in getting a grant for early on in COVID from the
That's
Hugo
right.
Community Fund through the Central New York Foundation. We got a lot of phone cards and that we could give to these folks who are all, just like all of us, trying to learn on the dime, how now I can
Right.
call in and how I can Zoom and how I can have access to internet. So that was quite a shift, and I remember we got that grant, and I think it was helpful, right?
Absolutely.
People
Absolutely.
needed that to be able to continue doing the work that you're doing with
Right.
them, so.
And one of the big pushes out in Onondaga County is community inclusion.
Mhm.
So, I mean, inclusion is a word that's been out there for a while, and there's really starting to be a greater emphasis on what that looks like and how to do it. And if we can take the steps that we plan to take out there, we'll have folks really focusing more on their communities and eliminating things like a transportation barrier, you know, finding positions where they'll be able to walk to work or find public transportation to be able to do that.
You know, I'm trying to wrap my head around the training aspect of it too. I mean, you've got a real diverse group of individuals that have needs to be able to learn how to acquire a skill or understand their jobs,
Mhm.
you know, to be able to do that, and if you're supporting that, how do you do that? I mean, you may have someone here with physical disability, you may have developmental disability or challenges, then you've got people that have the emotional and, you know, mental health issues. I mean, there's a wide spectrum of being able to help them be able to learn a skill or be able to do the job that they're seeking.
Right.
So how do you do that?
Well, you should see the billing and reporting, that has to be broken down like that too.
Well, right.
Yeah, there's the statewide center that's connected to Cornell University, New York State case provides hundreds, probably
Oh, yeah.
more hours of training, and so all the staff, depending on what program, what division, what group of people they're working with, has to have a certain amount of those trainings in addition to more.
Right, I think that a lot of our, throughout the month, our staff is taking trainings as well. You know, the state has so many different trainings when it comes to, you know, all of the assessments that we need to complete, so we know how to help these particular individuals, because what we provide person-centered services. So one particular model at job coaching, maybe, you know, at Walmart is not going to work for everyone. So we really have to acclimate and just really know the person that we're working with so that we know how to better serve them. It's really getting to know the person that we're working with. It's not going to happen overnight. They're not going to come in, say that I want a job, and then we're going to find them one, because it's probably not going to be the best fitting job for them that they're going to succeed in, depending on what their disability might be. It might take a little while, and we explain that to them. You know, if they want something that's going to be meaningful and last for them, we're going to work together to maybe, you know, go through these assessments that at first they might not want to go through because it's wasting time, maybe because they really want a paycheck. But in the long run, it works out and they're successful in the positions that they end up getting. I mean, we had a gentleman in Onondaga County who was a quadriplegic. He had a master's degree, and he just wanted a job working with computers. But he had a lot of barriers to overcome, even just on a daily basis with what he had to do all day long with his health and his self-care. So, you know, finding that job that probably wasn't going to be full-time because he physically wasn't able to do a full-time job was a very hard task for us to go out and find. But we did, and he's working at Syracuse University right now for their, I believe it's their student website department. So he goes on and helps with the website developing and whatnot. He loves it, and he's succeeding. It's not even And it is a part-time job, but it's not a full-time job, and it's exactly what he needs, and they work around the schedule that he's able to work, or that he needs to work around because
Probably
of his
remote
health.
access too,
Yes,
so he doesn't have to travel and all of that support network to do that.
right, yes, exactly. So, we always say, it's not going to be easy, depending on, the barriers that people are, facing. But where there's a will, there is a way, and we don't give up depending on, regardless of the disability that they have.
Yeah, but the other side of that is understanding and knowing what that employer's needs are.
Yep.
Exactly,
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
And that's a huge part of, business engagement when it comes to our job. Wanting to know what it is that they need.
You almost have to learn the job that they are going to be employed for so that you can try to match it up.
Right, I myself was actually a job coach many years ago, and I remember coaching people at Walmart. I knew every job at Walmart, and I probably could still go in there right now and do anything that they...
Except for technology's changed everything.
That's true, that is true.
It changed the name.
But, people thought I worked there. They thought because I was there so often, employees thought I was an employee there. But, our coaches go on site with them their first, few days even when they're being trained, so we know how they're being trained, so we can continue to train them in that. It might take a little longer than what the normal, procedure would be for training, so we extend that training because we know how that employer wants their staff to be trained and to do things. So that's the good thing about us, if they're, the employers are busy and they can't always be there at, to their every question that they might have, we're there to help them along that path as well.
And you're always looking for employers who would like to hire our people, right?
Definitely,
So we would like to ask Rotarians to help us network that word out there. If that could go in the minutes, Donna, that UES is always looking. If you know somebody who owns a business or is a manager of a business who needs some extra help, this could be an opportunity for them to tap a local
Absolutely.
resource that would be such a win-win for both sides.
Yeah.
Because you can hear what Kim and her crew can do for an employer, really helping a person with disabilities get a paying, competitive job, and the employer benefits from that as well. So I think that's.
Yeah, definitely.
I
And
don't want to jump in. But.
no, that's great because that's obviously we want to get our folks paid jobs, right? And we want to have that connection with employers, but also something that we don't tend to, we don't get out there as much as we also can offer, the pandemic and a lot of businesses are struggling right now. They're not wanting to hire new employees and whatnot. Well, we have programs where we do internships or volunteer opportunities for our clients to gain those skills while, helping the business out in some way, where you're not paying them, but they're coming in and they're getting skills on the job through our internships or our work experiences out in the community. So and then, they might learn the job, and when the time is right, the employer might want to hire them on in that position, and they're already trained for whatever the job might be, and they know the store, while they were learning and gaining all of those skills along the way. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a paid position if the particular person that we have is just looking to learn skills, but having that hands-on ability to do so.
Any other questions? We're at the witching hour.
Right.
All right.